Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2014 FIBA World Championship for Women. It's day 2, and it's Australia and Korea in Istanbul. Well, Australia rolled to a convincing win over Cuba in their opening game, whereas Korea almost surprised Belarus. We should have a humdinger coming for you today, folks. The Opals and the Koreans, a very difficult team to face. Their style of play. We'll see this game, then we'll have Angola, China, followed by Belarus, Cuba, and then the nightcap, or we'll say the last game of the day, the USA against Serbia. I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Lloyd Gardner. And Lloyd, if you look at the Group C standings, Australia, Belarus up top, Korea and Cuba, but still plenty of hope for Korea and Cuba down at the bottom. Well, very early stages still in this one, Jeff. Australia got the victory yesterday. A lot of positives for them, but it wasn't a complete performance, I'm sure. So even the Australians sitting at the top of the group will want to get some momentum, will want a better performance today. Well, everybody, welcome to the FIBA World Championship for Women here in Istanbul, Turkey. It's Korea and Australia, and the Koreans now being introduced to the crowd. And I suppose they had some players that stood out for you, Lloyd. Who was the one player that really grabbed your attention? Well, for me, yesterday, the young 15-year-old Park had a fabulous game on the inside, 15 points and 6 rebounds. But this is a Korean team that lives and dies by the three. When they made them in the games yesterday, they were extremely competitive. Against Belarus, it was the times where they went cold from the perimeter. You know, at one stage missed 13 straight threes, and that's what really cost them the game through the second and third periods. And for Australia, well, I think it's fair to say that they probably suffered the biggest blow of any of the national teams coming into the FIBA World Championship for Women, with the loss of Liz Cambage to injury. The question I have for you, is this a two-player team with Penny Taylor and Belinda Snell? Well, that's the question that has to be answered by the Australians. Yesterday, you know, Taylor was superb, 18 points in the first half. She absolutely carried them. Australia played well, but as I said, a couple of key issues they need to improve. Well, we're going to have the playing of the national anthems for both teams, starting with Korea. And now for Australia. It's always one of my favorite parts of the game beforehand. Gives you the patriotic fervor here. The Koreans and the Australians sing hello before hostilities commence. Both the players and the coaches. Don't drop anything now. There's Brendan Joyce of Australia. Well, welcome to the 2014 FIBA World Championship for women. Australia getting ready to take on Korea. And here's the refereeing crew today from France, Turkey, and Tunisia. And Australia, I posed the question to you with Snell and Taylor, really the two key performers. Obviously, Taylor, the MVP of the World Championship 8 years ago in Brazil, and Snell, these fans and family members will remember, was crucial in that third quarter, especially in the semifinal win over Brazil. What are their weapons going to be? Well, first we'll start with Korea.
Yeah, well, the Koreans, as we said, it's all about the perimeter game, really, for them. They've got a solid inside contributor with Park. She had a fantastic game yesterday. They've got to find a way to get more on the inside. You know, only 14 points in the paint yesterday, 5 second chance points for the Korean. When they did go to the outside, they ended up 9 of 30 from the three-point line. But like I said, there was a spell where they missed 13 straight.
We see Park Ji-soo there, the starting center, in that starting lineup. And for Australia, well, Penny Taylor, you've got Jerry, who will no doubt play a big part today. She's a player probably that has to really raise her level. I mean, she had some up and down moments yesterday.
Well, she definitely did have an up and down game yesterday. 13 points, 6 rebounds. You look at those statistics, you think she had a good game, but 7 turnovers. And, through crucial parts of the game, she really, wasn't firing on all cylinders yesterday, Jerry. She's a key player because she's that inside-outside sort of mismatch that makes the Australians difficult to guard.
We see Taylor, Phillips, Jerry, Hodges, and Tolo in that starting lineup for Australia. And the starters for Korea will be Kim, Hong, Lee, Kim, and as we mentioned, Park Ji-soo.
Yeah, the question for Australia is the inside players. Yesterday, the big four, they went 11 for 21 from the field. Not bad, but you've got to consider they also had 16 offensive rebounds. You have to consider a lot of those offensive rebounds were on the 10 shots they missed, which were close in, and they've got to make those first opportunity today.
Now, we've talked about Taylor, but Shin of Korea, she came to life yesterday, especially late in the contest, and gave them a chance. Started making shots. I think this Korean team is dangerous, whoever they play.
Absolutely. I mean, they came in yesterday, and they were very much the underdogs. You really did expect Belarus to win the game easily, but Korea didn't back down. They played, absolutely the right game for their style. Today's very different, though. If you think to the game yesterday, or for those of you that saw it, they were very organized. They double-teamed the low post. They scrambled well. They recovered. Today, they need to play completely different because they shouldn't double-team on the inside against Australia. They should leave Park to play one-on-one. They've got to stay home against the perimeter defenders and guard the perimeter rather than the inside.
So that will be the message that Kim Young-ju there, you see the coach delivering to his players. As for Brendan Joyce here speaking to the Australians, he was pretty optimistic. I spoke to him yesterday, and he felt, even with Tessa Levy, who didn't look particularly strong coming off the bench as point guard, he's like, listen, she played extremely well against the USA in the warm-up. Maybe a case of jitters on the opening day of the World Championship.
Yeah, that's what I said. First game for Australia. I don't think they will be panicking, but there are areas, the bigs have got to make their first shot opportunities. They gave up 16 offensive rebounds yesterday, so they've got to do a better job of that. And then also the guards who were superb in many stretches. They had 17 turnovers yesterday. 19 turnovers as a team, and that's far too high a number for the quality in this Australian lineup.
Well, let's don't forget that the Australians are a team kind of in transition without Lauren Jackson, who was kind of ruled out during the preparations, and then, right at the last, Liz Cambridge. So has that eased the pressure? Well, Brendan Joyce said, it doesn't ease the pressure on me because I want to win. I don't care who I've got every time we step out on the floor. So look for Australia to really try to build some momentum here against Korea today.
Well, the biggest problem is Cambridge went out so late. They would have prepared with her, organized things with her. Now they're having to adjust without that major factor on the inside. It's going to take them some time, but, you know, Australia, I think, will be better as the tournament goes along.
Well, it's the FIBA World Championship for women. Korea and Australia tipping it off here. Day 2 in Istanbul's Abdiapechi Arena. And Penny Taylor, who started like a house on fire yesterday against Cuba, has the ball in her hands, and she just lays it off to Mariana Tolo, and that's about as easy a layup as it comes.
Yeah, well, worrying signs. I mean, if I'm Korea, you just get in Taylor's face. Whatever she does, just guard her. Make somebody else beat you from Australia. Yes, she gave it up, but far too easy first possession for her.
Lee over to Kim, and Kim puts up the jump shot. So a good start for the number 14, Kim Soo-yeon.
Oh, great penetration from Lee. She's the one that broke down the defender. They need to continue to do that.
But the intensity needs to be there defensively for Korea if they're going to be successful. Caused a lot of problems for Belarus yesterday. And Park steps over, and for a 15-year-old, you were quite impressed by her intelligence.
Yeah, well, her tactical knowledge, defensively especially, so advanced for a player of her age.
Hodges misses the jumper, but Tolo there for the rebound and put back, but misses.
That's the type of thing I'm talking about for Australia. Tolo, a fantastic job on the offensive rebound, but she has to make that. There has to be 2 points on the inside.
Kim over to Park, and Park had a hand in her face from Tolo. Now Aaron Phillips. Over to Jerry. And now Tolo. And maybe Phillips is the player that Australia also need to step up. Hodges. Now Tolo right on the baseline. Nice patient approach from Australia.
Yeah, Tolo likes that little face-up jump shot, perhaps more than back to the basket. So Korea need to be aware, but that's the type of thing Australia they need. They need points from the inside.
Hong gets it over to Kim. Kim gets some space, puts up a three, and if memory serves correctly, she struggled with her shooting yesterday almightily. But I guess the good ones keep putting them up. Park commits the foul to slow down the break. And don't forget, Park picked up 3 fouls yesterday in the first half. She doesn't want to give away that foul, does she?
No, but they don't have the depth on the inside, Korea. But as you said, you know, they're a confident three-point shooting team. If they're open, they're going to take it.
Hodges gets it over to Jerry, who passes it up, gets it inside, and just short.
Like a bit of contact on that one. She was unlucky not to get the call. Rachel Jerry, strong drive. She's so versatile.
She kind of winced as she ran up the floor. Hong and Park has it blocked by Taylor. Well, Park's advantage is her height, and she just kind of tried to go up and under there.
Taylor's she's such a big guard, though. I was looking at her in the national anthems, and when you see players standing side to side, it's amazing how tall she is.
5 seconds on the shot clock. Inbounds to Kim. Lee passes over to Park, and the rebound for Korea. Kim passes inside, and Hong. So Hong Aaron. Now Taylor for three, left wide open, and that's the one player you have to keep your eyes on.
In defensive transition, you've got to understand, you're almost better leaving somebody under the basket open than leaving Penny Taylor. Wherever she is, you need to find her. In her half or the other half, it doesn't matter.
Hong. Outside to Kim. Aaron Phillips with the box out, and Taylor with the rebound. Taylor doing a little bit of everything, but her pass almost intercepted.
It's an interesting game on that end of the floor. The Korean offense, you know, Korea, they had great success yesterday breaking people down off the dribble, and that's where Australia struggled in guarding Cuba. They did get broken down on the wing because they're quite big at that spot.
Nice shot from Hodges. Well, somebody else other than Penny Taylor Now Kim. Park in the lane. And again, has no joy going up against Tolo.
No, great defense from Tolo, though. Didn't take the fake at all. Stayed low, stayed on her feet. Made it difficult for the youngster.
Phillips. And Taylor gets inside, and that's far too easy for Penny Taylor.
Oh, Taylor makes anything look easy. Superb drive from her. The help did come across on that time, but they couldn't stop her.
Penetration, Hong denied. Now Taylor in the open floor. Cuts to the middle and fouled by Lee.
Smart foul from Lee. Don't let Taylor get going. She had numbers. She had support. If Taylor wasn't going to score, you could almost guarantee she was going to hit somebody else for an easy look.
Yeah, we were talking before the game how teams should defend Australia, and you were saying that they should even go to a triangle and two and have two players on Taylor. That's how influential she is.
Yeah, I mean...
But we have seen Hodges and Tolo make shots today.
One of the benefits of, no Bambidge is players like Hodges, Jarry, they're so versatile. It makes them, even more multi-dimensional. But for me, I would rather Erin Phillips, who's a good player, WNBA player in her own right, rather she's taking shots than Penny Taylor. Deny Taylor the ball wherever she's going. Don't let her get any shots. Say to Phillips, okay, you have 25, then you'll beat us.
Taylor's going to inbound it to Phillips, and, well, Phillips hits the open shot.
And that's exactly it. You're saying about good players, you try and beat us. Phillips has the ability. I'm saying she's not quite as good as Penny Taylor, but not many people are.
Park Ji-soo doesn't look quite as fresh as she did yesterday, and I'm trying to understand, is that because of the defense from Tolo?
Yeah, fantastic defense from Tolo. The Australians, we watched them practice. They're very prepared. Their scout reports are on point, and Tolo knows Park wants to catch and shoot. She doesn't want the contact. She doesn't want to have to finish over the top of Tolo.
3 on the shot clock. Park, she's going to have to put up a tough one. She's not going to get it off in time.
No. Excellent job from Australia again. Park came off the screen. Tolo and Hodges were able to switch. Hodges also knows the matchup. She knows how to guard Park at the moment.
And really, that's the difference today. It seems like Australia have come out and they have scouted Korea extremely well. And they had done a pretty good job yesterday as well against Cuba, being prepared for that game. Here's Phillips. Well, that gives Korea a chance to push the ball up the floor. Now Lee gets in, puts up the layup, and is fouled.
Good push from Korea. We know that they can do that. Get out in transition. Try to raise this tempo. It's dangerous doing it against Australia, I know. But I still think the Koreans need to run when they have the opportunity.
So Lee's at the free throw line. Now she's the player who played in the Korean team that finished second at last year's FIBA America's Championship. FIBA Asia Championship for women in Bangkok. The other players from that team are at the Asian Games in Incheon, which Korea is hosting. And I think that's one reason why we were so surprised as Park comes out of the game and Bai goes in. We were surprised that Korea had such a good game yesterday because we were expecting the drop-off. But, they came out, and I think it spoke volumes about the Korean basketball program.
Yeah, well, Lee only averaged 4 points a game at that tournament. She wasn't a big factor for them, but she had a good game yesterday. She struggled shooting the ball, just 1 of 9 from the field, but she had 8 rebounds, 7 assists, so she did have a leadership role.
Choi also into the game, and she's an interesting player, as well as number 7, Hong Boram. They had some good moments. Snell has come in for Australia, and she has the ball knocked away. Shin, she could have pulled up. Shin is going to take a 3, and Taylor just goes in and gets the rebound easily. Phillips over to Kayla Francis, another of the substitutes, and Francis is a player who continues to get better and better the more minutes that she gets.
Well, Francis was probably the best big for Australia yesterday. 11 points, 5 of 6 from two-point range. She's had a couple of blocks. She nearly got that one from Lee.
Yep, another miss from three-point range for Korea. Now, they've missed all of their threes so far. Taylor gets in the lane and puts it up and in.
And then she just wanders to the basket, Penny Taylor. Nobody got in front of her. Another two.
She's got 7 points, Penny Taylor. Lee puts it up and misses the layup. And that's not going to do it for Korea. They have got to hit their open shots.
Yeah, well, especially off the dribble drive.
Yeah, especially when you're just maybe, 6 centimeters away from the basket?
Yeah. And that was a clean look. You know, despite being close, there was no one in front of her either. And now you missed the layup. You try and fight for the rebound, commit a foul, which is your 5th team foul. And so Australia will go all the way to the other end. It's Belinda Snell who's at the line. She gets a chance to get going. Everything, you know, the mistakes compounding against Korea at the moment.
And perhaps this is where the experience factor comes in, but also the coaching of Joyce seems to be on top of things.
Yeah, it's interesting. We were speaking to the Australian, media members earlier, and they talked about the fact Australia may go smaller and already a lineup we haven't seen with Phillips and Mitchell on the floor at the same time. So the two-point guard lineup, essentially, we didn't see that at all yesterday. Instantly, Australia get better defensively.
And they still have enough size with Burton coming in to play along with Kayla Francis. Choi off the mark from the corner. And now Phillips. Francis, now Burton up at the top. Phillips over to Leilani Mitchell. And Korea get that rebound over to Shin now. 2:51 to go here in the opening quarter. Shin going up against Mitchell. Beautiful bounce pass and another layup that's missed by Korea. And the Korean coach just walks away in frustration. Phillips over to Snell in the corner. Good! And that right there is like a layup for Australia. So Korea missed a couple of really easy ones down low, and Snell goes down and drills the three.
That's exactly it. You miss, Australia make. Difference in the game so far.
Well, the Australia shooting is far superior. Korea have missed some easy ones of late, but Australia have gotten good looks, and it started right at the very beginning with Taylor getting into the lane and dumping the pass off to Tolo.
Well, everything starts with Penny Taylor for Australia.
And also the bench scoring. Look at that from Australia.
Well, they've got a weapon like Belinda Snell coming off the bench. They have Kayla Francis as well. Yeah, like I said, it was one of their double-figure scorers yesterday. For Korea, though, they haven't got the three-point shot is everything for them. Yesterday, 9 of 30 on the game. They went 13 straight misses at one stage through the second and third quarter. That's where the game got away from them against Belarus. Through the rest of the game, they were 9 of 17. So that's when they were going toe-to-toe. That's when they had an advantage over Belarus. They haven't hit here yet. They're 0 of 4 now. If they can start hitting a couple, it just kind of frees them up so much more.
The pressure from Mitchell almost forces Hong to turn it over. Lee, meanwhile, has come back into the game. She makes the pass, and another miss. Park is in, has her hands on the ball, but it's taken away from Burton. So Kim Soo-yeon also had a miss that time for Korea. Now into Kayla Francis, and you almost get the feeling right now that Australia is just going to shove it down their throat.
Now, whether the low post play that I asked before the game, superb from Australia. Francis did a great job. She allowed the defender to get round in front of her, She allowed Kim to try and deny, spun, seal position, and an excellent high post pass from Burton.
Francis at the line. Where does experience and tradition come into this scoreline right now? You know, Australia have been at these big events. They're one of the top teams in the world. And we're seeing, even though they've got 7 debutantes in their team at this World Championship, they're putting together a pretty impressive show. Nice turnover, or forced by Australia. Rebecca Allen travels.
Australians have gone from a small lineup to a very big one with 1 substitution. Allen comes in. She's so mobile. She's replaced Erin Phillips. So they go now Snell and Allen at the 2 and the 3.
Nice. They broke it that time. Prepared for the press. Hong for 3. And finally some relief for Korea.
Yeah, and we know the 3-point shot can change the game for them. Australia need to be careful.
Kayla Francis puts up a 3 early in the offense. And Rebecca Allen got the rebound. Burton hands it off to Snell, and Snell missed the layup. And Park fumbled away the rebound, but Korea collected the ball. Now Hong. Leap.
Got a score on the inside. Big mismatch. Kim.
Yep, Kim can't operate against Burton. And the bigs for Australia are really just kind of dominating.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mismatch. It's Mitchell that time guarding until Burton comes down to double. And Kim has to score with an advantage like that one.
It's the final minute of the first quarter. Snell open and stepped into that one. Wasn't quite as open. Lee. Bounce pass to Kim. And the dive on the floor for the loose ball. So Korea will maintain possession with 31.3 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Here's another look at the ball just kind of bouncing around there for Australia. Got to pick it up with your hands, ladies. So a new shot clock for Korea. Will they go for a 2-for-1? Kim, 3, nope. And Kayla Francis, boy, that was an authoritative rebound. And now Mitchell and the Opals can hold it for 1. Brenda Joyce calls the play. 10 seconds. Now Mitchell over to Francis for 3. Well, it's actually a nice looking stroke from Francis, but she misses. 2, 1. And Lee does not get the shot off in time. So it was all Australia. And you can see by the 25 points, not much defense really being offered by Korea. The Opals in command at the end of the first quarter here at the FIBA World Championship for women. Well, Coach Kim really needs some improvement in all of those categories, doesn't he? You talk about the need to hit the three-point shot, but even more so, more worrying for him will be the shooting of Australia. Getting some easy looks.
I think both things worry him. They've got just 3 field goals. Korea, they need to make some shots. And we talked yesterday about how offense can affect your defense so often. So Korea not making the shots, you know, they're trying, you know, you can't knock their physical effort, but just that bit of a spark that they had yesterday isn't quite here. It's not the first game in the tournament. They're not huge underdogs. Everyone kind of knows a bit about them now. So can they respond? Now everything's not new to them. That replay there is a classic example. Park's in position, but Taylor just goes right through her for the easy score.
As impressive as Park was yesterday, she's been that unimpressive today.
Yeah, well, again, credit to the Australian defense on the scouting report. Yesterday we said Park, she doesn't have a back-to-the-basket game yet. She's just 15 years of age. You wouldn't expect her to be a polished offensive machine yet. But Australia know that, so they're taking away what she's good at, forcing her into the things that she's not quite developed at the moment.
Well, meanwhile, France is kind of demonstrating her worth for the Opals. With Cambridge out, they need a big to step up.
Well, they've had great production. Francis and Tolo, 4 points, 2 rebounds for each of them. So for me, that was the question. That's what I asked. Are they going to finish those first shot opportunities? Tolo went 2 of 3. Francis is 1 for 1 for 2-point range. So they are finishing on the inside well.
Well, it's 25-9. Australia leading the FIBA World Championship for women Group C game here against Korea. Taylor back into the game. Burton pretty close to the basket. Tolo goes up for the rebound. And Phillips now back in. Gets it back to Burton. And Burton's pass intercepted by Lee. That was telegraphed. Now Korea looked to get something going in their half-court offense. Lee thought about the 3. Her pass into the corner. Now Kim up top with 5 on the shot clock. Gets it to Park. And just kind of a rush shot. Lee was there for the rebound. Very alert play from Lee.
Well, great tenacity from Lee. We said, is she the leader of this Korean team? She's the one with the FIBA Asia experience.
Well, it certainly looks like it. But now the pass, just a needless turnover for Korea. Kim. Mitchell inside to Taylor. And Taylor just kind of great footwork, spins to her left, and that's what happens when you turn the ball over needlessly. So Korea punished for the turnover. Now Lee. Still, they can put points on the board quickly, the Koreans. We've seen it happen before. There's Kim from long range, and look at Phillips just boxing out. Mitchell is fouled by Lee.
Well, Phillips is an excellent defender. On ball, off the ball, team-wise, she really is. That's where she earns her money.
Look at that box out.
Yeah.
She wasn't even thinking about going for the ball. She was like, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
And one of my teammates will come in and get it.
And that's exactly what you want from a guard. Hold your player off, make sure they don't get it, and allow your bigs to clean it up for you.
Tolo with the left hand. So Korea ride their luck. And now Lee. So both teams have missed some easy ones today. Park tries to post up at the high post. Ball turns over to Mitchell. Mitchell goes in and puts up I don't know if that was a pass or a shot. But anyway, Australia bailed out because Kim committed the foul. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was
just went out of bounds off the Australian, I think.
Okay, so yeah. Was that a pass or a shot, do you think?
I think Mitchell was looking to be fouled, so she was kind of trying to jump into the defender, see if she could get the whistle to go to the line. And so the shot, it looked a very ugly one, really.
Hong dribbling up top. Kim over to Park. And Park, oh, not her day. Rims out.
That's one of the few opportunities we've seen for her to get that shot.
And Phillips goes all the way down and scores for Australia.
Again, Tolo with a smart play. Floor. She held off Park, meant that she couldn't get across to block the shot.
Australia really piling it on right now. Tessa Levy into the game as well for Australia. She's guarding the ball, number 4. Hong, an offensive foul, trying to set the pick. So 2 fouls on Park. There she is. But to be honest, she's looked tired as well today.
Yeah, well, I could talk about when you're young, you come in, the excitement of that first game. Superb performance from her. She's got to have the consistency that comes with experience sometimes.
Saw Phillips get down on that replay with that great layup. Now Tolo, well, facing up the basket.
Great execution from Australia, the patience. Had a couple of looks before that one. They didn't take them, though, intentionally. And they got a high percentage one, the reward.
Park gets inside. And now Taylor at midcourt, guarded by Kim, over to Hodges. And Hodges just missed the layup, but Tolo was there for the putback.
Tolo's having a great game. Always one of the first down the floor. It's not easy when you're starting under the basket. Doing a great job, Tolo, finishing and rebounding offensively as well.
Seems to be getting worse before it gets better for Korea, that's for sure right now. They are trailing by 22 points. Kim's pass and missed a very makeable reverse layup. Kim back outside to another Kim. Hong. Now Shin. Park tries to fight for position. Korea don't look comfortable offensively. Hong gets inside and puts it up off the glass.
You know, the Korean struggles are often down to the Australian defense, though. Again, credit to the Coach Joyce's staff.
Phillips for three.
They've done an excellent job with the scout report. Their team is so prepared for this game.
Well, Taylor saved it in bounds to Hong. And that'll be an open three from Kim. And finally, again, a shot falls for Korea.
But how many times have they taken an open three? That's the difference. So they've hit two now. They're 2 of 8. But Australia know that's the weapon they're looking for.
Bounce pass goes out of bounds. And now goes back to Korea. So another opportunity for Korea to draw closer. Taylor, Tolo come out. And Gabe Richards and Jerry come in. There's Tolo taking a seat. This was Taylor. She was trying to save it, but ended up triggering a fast break for Korea, and they finished it with a three-pointer. So Korea on a 5-0 run right now. See if they can extend it. Kim over to Choi. And you saw Hodges come right out on Choi. She doesn't want to give her a whiff of anything out on the perimeter. Offensive foul. Another one. And Choi is guilty.
Well, Choi was such a difference maker yesterday, but today 3 fouls for her. She was 4 of 6 from beyond the three-point line and really helped them get back into the game in the second half. Zone action from Korea, 2-3. See if this can spark some offense into them. Get a couple of stops.
Choi has to play, obviously, because Park is on the bench catching a breather, but Tolo goes in and gets the easy one. It's fouled by Kim.
One little breakdown. Choi just got caught on the inside for the skip pass. And when she's trying to recover, Phillips does an excellent job beating her off penetration. Then the Korean defense is forced to scramble. That's where the mistake comes with the foul and now one.
But the free throw is good. And it is not looking good right now for Korea. Trailing about 20 points. Entry pass to Kim, brings it back outside, hands it off to Kim Siu. Kim in close, puts it off the back, and Phillips with the rebound. Boy, I didn't see this happening, just like I didn't see Korea really challenging Belarus yesterday. Jerry that's a 2. But they are just getting blown out of the water right now by the Australians. Hong rushes in the shot. Richards with the rebound. Phillips over to Levy. And Tessa Levy joins the scoring parade.
Well, everyone seems to be getting in on it. They had 11 of the 12 score yesterday. Already, most people have scored for them.
Choi for 3. And Choi is guilty of holding and picking up her 4th foul.
I know you don't want to give up, a layup, but you've got 3 fouls, your Choi. Why would you grab on the halfway line? Why would you pull someone back? You know you're going to have to sub out now. It means you're essentially out of the game until at least late on in the third period now.
Well, timeout on the floor. Australia in complete command, 40-16. $11 fouls by Korea.
But 1 foul from Australia. And I mentioned we watched the Australians practice. In their victory over Cuba, they did a lot of the team movements of Cuba. They talked about how they run different actions and how they would guard it. They haven't really had to do that against Korea as much, but the individual scout, the personnel has been spot on for Australia. They've guarded, they've taken Korea away from what they want to do. They haven't fouled to give them any easy opportunities as well. So, I mentioned Coach Joyce, his entire staff, and the players. This is a brilliant execution of a defensive game plan so far from them.
And it's also a brilliant execution. I mean, they're not giving the Koreans any hope whatsoever. With 3 minutes remaining, Australia are going to surpass, quite likely, the 50-point plateau. And they had 25 points in the first quarter. It's just been a clinic. Hodges is going to be at the line to try to make some free throws. Hodges has 6 points today already. Tolo has 8. Taylor has 9. She's leading the way.
We talked about the inside 4, didn't we? Richards is now on first, essentially first action. But then inside 4, great production from them.
Australia perfect at the free throw line as well today. There you go. Commentators curse. Now they're 6 of 7 at the free throw line. So we'll see what Korea can come up with after coming out of the timeout. The Australia defense not going to give that away. And I suppose a little bit of too much hand check there from Laura Hodges. Watch Hodges. Yep, just had her forearm on her.
Just checking, Jeff. It looks like Choi's only got 3 fouls. There must have been a mistake because she's still out on the floor. And our caption now showing that she has 3, not 4.
They've taken 1 away.
Yeah.
Even so, Kang drills it.
Another tough offense, though, from Korea. Pull-up jump shot, hand in the face. Isn't much more the Aussies could do about that.
Now Richards, Jerry, over to Levy. And Levy's off target, Kang. Kang's just nailed 1. Usually you like to go back to the player after she hits a jumper. Lee gets inside, and Jerry did an excellent job. She wasn't going to give anything away.
It's one of those rare occasions where Australia have fouled. Fouling is a tactical skill like many others, knowing when to commit a foul because you've been beaten, to stop transition, or various other points, and then knowing when not to foul as well. So Jerry, she didn't mean to foul in that situation. It was going to be a tough shot. But she's, it's a breakdown because she committed a foul when Lee, chances are, probably would have missed a layup.
When it rains, it pours. The free throw is no good from Lee. Her team is down 41-18 and needing everything they can get. She makes the second. That's some full court pressure here by the Koreans. And Tessa Levy, who had a turnover yesterday, trying to break the press. She's fouled.
Yeah, a little bit too much dribbling there from Levy. She was double teamed. Her teammates didn't really come back, but they can see 2 players around her. That's the time she needs to retreat dribble, back out of the press, draw them with her, and then pass over the top.
So Levy goes to the free throw line with 2:05 remaining in the first half. So the area for Australia to improve where you had the question marks before the tournament with the loss of Cambridge would have been on the interior. And you feel like they've answered some questions today in that regard, although they're playing Korea as well.
Yeah. Well, you can only play what's in front of you today. So far, the interior from Australia been first class offensively and defensively. Still, they've given up some offensive rebounds, so 5 for Korea. And don't forget the turnovers was the other factor. Six in this first half for Australia. That's a little bit too high for my liking as well.
Well, Korea maintaining possession after that missed 3. And they've got a new shot clock. Kang tries to get something inside and is denied by another big, Gabe Richards.
By everybody. The Australian defense just surrounded her as she caught it on the inside.
Burton. And Burton still scraps for the rebound, but Lee comes away with it. Now Choi for 3. Finally for Choi. She's going to enjoy that. It's already 42-22, though. It's a little too late. She needs to drop a few more.
Better switch from Korea. They deny the pass. Good communication. Now they've got a guard as the shot clock gets low.
Levy gets it over to Snell. And the ball goes off of Richards' hands. Now, as a reminder, Richards was the player who Australia called into the squad at the last minute to replace Cambridge after Cambridge's injury.
Yeah, I mean, Richards had a solid game yesterday. She's not really going to be a huge factor in the knockout games, I'm sure. Still does have a lot of quality.
Korea trying to get something here before the end of the half. Now Snell. Haven't seen much from Rebecca Allen today. She's in the corner. Snell. Oh, off one foot. I think she's most comfortable, obviously, with having her feet set. And Korea have to hurry, and they don't get it over. They just failed to get it across in time. So frustrating time. They've got 8 seconds. And I was watching the shot clock, and referee was right. Right on. You don't agree with me. You just don't want to see it called in this situation.
I'm not sure. It looked very close to me. And I would say a very close call with 20 seconds to go of a 20-point game. I know you shouldn't referee time and score. The referees might not know it, but I would have thought that one would have slid by. Now, the Koreans have gone with a smaller lineup. Now Park's had to go out, and it's actually helped them defensively. They, the pick and roll, any screens away from the play.
Lloyd, look at the rebounds. Surprising, actually, that Korea are competing that well on the boards, to be honest. 26-19.
Yeah, they've done a good job. And, Park has played well. She's only got 2 rebounds, though. As I said, the smaller lineups help them defensively. The problem is they lose her offensively. They lose her ability, the catch and shoot in and around the paint, occasional low post scoring as well.
That was Choi's three-pointer. Well, it felt like yesterday that maybe Belarus weren't ready to face Korea. And you kind of get that feeling that today Korea weren't ready to face Australia. But one thing we do know, Australia were ready to face Korea. They are well in command. We've got a slight delay here. Referees telling, for some reason, telling the players to go back to their benches. It's usually the referees that are going over to tell the players.
No, I think we've had a timeout, and then we've had another timeout called.
Okay.
Coach Joyce just with a little smile. I think he called 2 consecutive timeouts. And so what the officials have told him is you're not supposed to come in early from the second one. You have to stay and take the entire minute.
Yeah, but my question is why call 2 consecutive timeouts with 20 seconds to go in the first half? You're down 20. You want to get the locker room.
No, it was Australia that called it. They're trying to design this play. I think he didn't quite get a chance to talk it through in the first minute.
And the pass Ends up with Snell, and Snell hits the three-pointer.
See, that's what he drew up.
I'm guessing not. But even then, why call the timeout when you're up 20?
No, he's looking at the rest of the tournament. He's preparing for that. Tried to get in the last second play that eventually worked.
So 45-22. Australia well on top of Korea. Australia having their way in many respects, far superior shooting performance without question, and Korea facing a pretty tough defense today. The Opals coming out prepared and not allowing them to get into the flow at all. And from a rebounding standpoint, which we already discussed, it's not quite a disaster for Korea.
Well, you called it a clinic, Jeff, and I think that's the right term. Australia have just been superb. Korea, they haven't played well, of course, but Australia have been top draw offensively, defensively. Everything they've done so far been of the highest standard.
And offensively, Taylor just kind of set the tone yet again for the second day in a row. Seems like she's hardly played. We haven't seen her in a while now. She's got 9 points. That's still leading the Australians. So 20 minutes still to go here. As you look at the top scorers for both teams, Tolo and now Snell with that last basket. She has 8 points. Stick around for the second half. Australia lead it, though, by 23 points. 45-22, Australia on top of Korea at the FIBA World Championship for women in Istanbul. A tournament that started full of promise for Korea, who got on top early on against Belarus. Well, they lost that game, and today they have just come out and been second best in every facet against the Australians. Australia trying to build on yesterday's win over Cuba and go to 2-0, and of course they'll be assured of at least a top 3 finish if they win today. Brendan Joyce's team, there you see Brendan Joyce looking at the stats. He'll like the play of his bigs, especially how they came out. He knows he's going to get terrific performances from Penny Taylor night in and night out. And Lloyd, for Korea, the question is, how do you even begin to think about clawing back a 45-22 deficit?
Well, they've got to play with the freedom they played with through big stages of the game yesterday. The three-point shot was their weapon. It's what brought them back in games, gave them leads, and they haven't been able to get clean looks at the basket. It may be a case that they went smaller later in that game. It helped them defensively. Perhaps they've got to do something along those lines. The trouble is, that means sacrificing Park, who's really the future of Korean basketball. You're talking about taking a 15-year-old out of a game when you're 30 points down, or 23 points down, excuse me. So it's a difficult dilemma for them. They need to try and speed it up a little bit. You know, they can't let Australia be quite as comfortable on the offensive end, and then they've just got to continue to try and graft and find some room for the perimeter shot offensively.
Well, do you think sometimes that as fans, say we're fans and we look at that and we just write it off completely, whereas the players and the coaches, they just think we just got to go out and play. They never look at the scoreboard.
I don't think you can. For Korea coming in to the tournament, we said, this is a team that's been spread thinly with the Asian Cup happening at the same time as well. So there was no expectations on them. They can play with that freedom. I don't think they'll look at the scoreboard and get too disheartened at the moment, but they'll know that they're not playing well. That's the biggest thing. Sometimes you can look at the scoreboard, be playing well, but the scoreboard doesn't reflect how you played. Now, unfortunately for them, the scoreboard is reflecting how they played because they're down 23 points. And also, Australia have just been very, very good. You can't underestimate that at all.
45-22, the FIBA World Championship for women. That's the score with Australia on top of Korea. The second half getting underway here in Istanbul. We're inside the famous Abdi Apechi, the famous arena here in the city where East meets West. Now, Korea, they need to get something going, and they need to get it going now if they're going to have a glimmer of hope. Kim, her shot no good. Lee follows it up. And you can see that she was rushing her shot, trying to get it over those bigs of Australia. Mitchell starting the second half here for Australia. Bounce pass inside to Hodges. And Hodges scores with the left hand.
Everything just too quick for Korea there. Tolo was down the floor. Korea couldn't get back in time. Had the mismatch and then never recovered before Hodges was laying it up for the pick and roll.
Park makes the pass to Hong. Korea moving it around. Now Choi. And Choi gets swatted by Tolo. Kim will take the three.
They found the room for a couple of threes. Kim finally gets going. She struggled yesterday, struggled so far today as well.
Mitchell gives it up to Hodges now. Now Taylor gets a little bit of space. Is short with the jumper. Lee's pass batted away, or had the ball knocked out of her hand. And that's sort of how it's been for Korea today, just self-inflicted pain. Taylor over to Mitchell with 7 on the shot clock. And now to Tolo. Tolo turns, and Phillips goes up for the rebound. And unsportsmanlike foul is called on Korea.
Great spin from Taylor.
I think that's on Hong.
Yeah. Watch this. Taylor's going to turn on her Silla to the outside, then she gets pulled down. As I say, Danny Taylor, you know, as a guard, so versatile, whether she's a 1, 2, 3, you know, whatever she plays, she's such a tall player. So the versatility means she can handle the ball against pressure, she can play the point guard position, but she can also go in and post up if you try and put someone smaller on her. So, you know, how do you match up with her? You put a small guard, a quick player on her, she'll post them up. Put someone bigger on her to take away the inside, she takes them to the perimeter.
She makes both free throws, and Australia extend their lead to 49-25. And they're going to retain possession because of the unsportsmanlike. Phillips is out on the perimeter, as she should be as the guard, looking to make the pass over to Mitchell. And Tolo, not really seeing Phillips look for her shot at all today, nor Mitchell. Foul called on Korea.
And I think that's the way you have to guard Australia. That's what, I wonder sometimes about Korea. Phillips and Mitchell come off the screen, and they help more on those two than they do on Penny Taylor. So, you know, when those two are coming off the screen, you can leave them to be a little bit open, really, because they're not going to look to score as much as someone like Taylor.
Well, they tried to deny Taylor, but she still gets it, puts it up, and Choi ends up with the ball, and Taylor fouls Choi. So you see scrapping for the ball. She comes in from behind there and then gets on top of Choi. Taylor missed the Olympics because of the knee injury, but she's battled back. So really, when you look at it from that standpoint, for a couple of consecutive tournaments, Australia have been without leading players, with Cambridge out this year, Taylor out of the London Games. So their luck's got to change at some point. Choi puts up the 3. No, that was a 2.
Speaking of luck, the bank from the corner.
Tolo just kind of powers her way inside over Park.
Very good again, Tolo. Look at that, 5 of 8. She's been impressive. Down the floor, sealed very well early in transition.
Park pulls up, and that's where she wants to be.
That's exactly right. That's her game. In and around the foul line, mid-range shooting. But again, Tolo's going to go straight back at her.
Yep, Tolo misses the easy one. Choi had to shoot over Tolo, so she thought twice about that. Ended up passing it off. Hong. Shin gives it back over to Kim. Kim makes a 3.
Oh, Kim's starting to find that range a little bit. She's 3 of 7 now here.
Australia on top by 19. Taylor tries to post up and just hands it off to Hodges.
Again, the versatility of Taylor, putting her in the low block. She showed she can score now. She's been the provider.
And Korea almost turned it over, but Kim gets it back. Park, a little bit of a mismatch. Weak effort from Park in the end. She eluded the Taylor, but then just kind of put up a weak shot.
She must expected some contact, I think, and when Taylor wasn't there, surprised her. That's what caused her to miss.
And she's now got 3 fouls. Well, timeout on the floor, and Australia is still in the ascendancy. Points in the paint, 11 of 21 for Australia. Korea just 4 of 17. And you can see when Korea get it inside, they are thinking twice before they go up with the ball.
Well, they don't have a dominant post scorer. We've talked about Park and her, you know, it's not quite there for her yet. But the positives for Korea is they've started to make a couple of threes now. Kim especially, 3 of 7 in this game. After going just 1 of 12 yesterday, she's made 2 in this third period as they're 2 of 3 as a team. And that sparks them to life. They got it down to 19 on the back of a 3. So
that's it right there.
Yep.
Kim. Now Jerry has come in for Australia. And you can see that Australia, from a size standpoint, they have plenty of size. And the referee stops play for a second to ask if something was working over at the commissioner's table. So they're going to restart it here with 18 seconds on the shot clock. Now Taylor gets it inside, and Big Tolo goes up and powers her way up off the glass.
Well, Tolo is having a tremendous game. It's the 4th foul on Park. 6 of 10 from the field, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks as well. Good production from her. She's starting to establish herself. We know she has the quality, Tolo. She's a good player. She's done well in the EuroLeague for Borges last couple of years. 12 points, 5 rebounds at that level. So now she's starting to get involved with this Australian team, take the lead on the inside.
Well, some full court pressure from the Australians. Shin gets it inside. But Choi brings it right back over to Shin. Now Mitchell. Taylor, the size advantage, puts it up over the rim. And Taylor reaches up and knocks that ball into the hands of Tolo, so she forces the turnover. Now a foul called against Korea. We've actually got some adopted Australian fans behind us. I think they're Turkish, but they're holding up the Australian flag and chanting Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. There's Mitchell in the replay on the foul.
They was just waiting to see what the score was before they chose which flag to pull out, I think. But definitely on the Australian side at the moment. Joined us late. Taylor, though, it's always under control. Even in the post, she was frustrated. She got a good look. She missed it. Then works hard to get the steal. And then just immediately gets it. Just nothing bothered her. Even though they had numbers in transition, just the poise, the calm that she brings to the floor allows everybody else to feed off her, really.
Kim gets it over to Kim. Now, Korea trying to get something going offensively. And Hong Aaron is fouled. So Tolo commits the foul. Taylor is going to come out of the game and be replaced by Rebecca Allen. Which of the Australian bigs do you like the best? Or do you think they're all pretty equal?
Well, on today's showing, Mariana Tolo has proved she's kind of the front runner. I know Francis has come on for limited minutes and played well.
I'm surprised Francis hasn't played more.
I agree.
When she was in, she was getting the job done.
4 points, 2 rebounds in just 5 minutes for Francis. She really did provide a spark, scored on the inside, defensively stayed good as well. But Tolo is, she's a role player, a very good one, but defensively very organized, very disciplined. And now, the only question is those opportunities, the first shot opportunities. She's got to make those because against better teams, she's not going to get the second and third.
Nice penetration from Kim for Korea. Tolo's dump inside to Hodges, but that's before the shot, and Choi does pick up her 4th foul now.
Again, the Australian bigs down the floor early. They get position, they hold. They're very good passers. And it can't be underestimated, both the guards and the bigs that look into the inside.
Hodges was in that Olympic team in London a couple of years ago. Didn't play that much. She's got also a chance to play more this summer.
Well, Hodges is a player. She's played before for Australia, like you said. You know, she's played in 3 Olympics, 2 Oceania Championships, 1 World Championship before now, but never averaged more than 7 points a game.
Now Lee tries to escape the attentions of Hodges. Hong over there on the baseline. And Tolo comes away with another rebound. She's got 5 rebounds. Jerry over from the left. And Kim passes outside to Hong. And Lee is a little bit of a collision there with Jerry. I think Lee's okay.
Number 10, Rachel Terry, third personal foul, 25 in team score.
So 3 fouls on Jerry.
Good call. Not quite there, and the substitution we talked about.
Yep, Kayla Francis.
Yeah, it just happened. Francis in for Tolo.
Well, you're up 59-34 for Australia with just under 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Cruising, and unless something incredible happens, and don't forget, Korea did come back from 21 points yesterday against Belarus and got to within 3 points. But you don't feel like that's possible today because Australia have just been so convincing.
Yeah, well, it's a different game today. You can't see, you know, those little areas where yesterday Korea, you gave them a glimmer of hope. Belarus were in foul trouble. They played within themselves. Australia, you know, everything's working for them right now.
Francis passes out to Snell. Australia really moving that ball around, and they get it to Hodges.
Beautiful ball movement against the zone. One way, then the other. To the inside. Great play from Australia. Great team offense.
Choi with the 4 fouls. Back outside to Kim. Australia not giving anything away. Choi for 3. And Rebecca Allen chases that ball down. Snell. Maybe this is a chance for Allen to launch one. Puts it on the floor, but has the ball knocked away by Hong. Now quickly, Korea. Choi for 3. And that one won't go down either. Korea just 5 of 17 from 3-point range. Kayla Francis. Kim. And now Lee with a minute and a half to go in the 3rd quarter. And Korea not really having made any progress here at all in the 2nd half against Australia. A dominant Australia. And an Australia that perhaps because of Cambage's injury flying under the radar just a little bit. But, you know, back-to-back games where they could end up scoring around 80, 90 points against Cuba and Korea should raise some eyebrows.
Well, I think they've proved themselves to be in that top tier of teams. That's for sure. If you say, you know, on our side of the bracket, the US, Australia are definitely up there with them. On the other side, you have Turkey, Spain, France. And I think they're up there and in chance with a medal for sure.
Well, I think their next opponent, Belarus, will be perhaps a better indication how they fare against them, of how far they can go in this tournament. Korea are going to have to end up coming out fighting for their lives when they come out against Cuba. Rebecca Allen. And right now, though, it looks good for Australia. Snell, boy, if she gets her feet set, it's almost 100% going in, isn't it? It's when she tries to create sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she is a superb set shooter. 6 of 8 she is now on the tournament. Incredible, 75%.
I remember she hit a shot from 3/4 of the length of the court at the Olympics. It was against Brazil. She just knows how to put the ball in the hoop. Now that's Lee, and that clangs off the rim. Tessa Levy. Reaching the foul by Korea.
Number 6,
Hong, that's her second foul. Right now, Australia have 3 players in double figures. Snell with 11, Hodges with 14, Taylor with 11. So this is almost a career international game for Hodges, the way she's come out today. Snell goes to 13 points. Here are the final 15 seconds of the third quarter. Lee. Allen's up top now. Kayla Francis guarding Lee. And Lee travels. She kind of dragged her foot after she picked up her dribble.
It's a shame because she penetrated. She did 4 on Australian defenders. All surrounded her. And she recognized, knew where the kick out should have been going, but just, as you said, dragged that foot before she could make the pass.
So the final 6 seconds of the third quarter. Tessa Levy puts up a 3 and stays out. So Burton helps up Choi, and Korea and Australia head to the bench for the team talk here before the fourth quarter. Australia in complete command at 66-37. Well, here inside the Abdu Pechi, it's Australia all over Korea. And take over, Lloyd. I mean, it's been pretty much domination, hasn't it?
Well, I think we've said a bit of everything, Jeff. To be honest, the Australian team so prepared. And that's check number 1 on their list. The scout report was good. Check number 2, the execution defensively has been very good. Check number 3, offensively, they've got the ball where they want it. You know, they've made shots. And then, of course, check number 4, do you have that bit of brilliance, that individual that when things go wrong, when the other team is prepared for what you're trying to do, when they can take you out of your action, do you have someone that can just say, well, give me the ball, I'll do it for us, and go one-on-one, get the score? And they've absolutely got that in Penny Taylor.
Really, if you're Korea and you talk about, you're going to want to forget this game, aren't you? I mean, there's nothing positive. Why waste any time going over what's gone wrong against Australia? They're going to face a different team the next day. It'll be Cuba, and the way Korea have played in this tournament, well, gosh, kind of up and down. So maybe they'll have an up.
Well, we said before, the way this tournament is organized for Korea, you know, this is a game they can't really lose, because even if the scoreboard is against them in this one, really the game that matters is the game they play against Cuba tomorrow. Not tomorrow, the day after. They get the victory there, they're into third place, they'll have a playoff game. If they get a win today, you know, it's still really, they'll still probably have to beat Cuba anyway to qualify.
FIBA World Championship for women here, fourth quarter action with Australia and Korea, and Belinda Snell. Well, she had her feet set and missed, so I guess she's not a 100% shooter from there. She's usually pretty good, though. And she scored a lot of points today. Snell with 13. One more basket, and she'll be the leading scorer. Park gets in the lane, puts it up hard, and Burton down with the rebound. Now Levy. Levy picked up her dribble. Passes to Allen. Snell chases it. Now, a little bit of a opportunity for Korea. And Kang was not expecting that pass from Shin. That's a tough play to make.
Yeah, Shin got cut off, and then should have probably just backed it out, accepted the opportunity had gone, and Ted tried to shovel the tough pass that came off the shoulder.
Now Natalie Burton. She hits the jump shot.
There's the versatility of the bigs from Australia now. Burton can play in and out. We already know that Francis can hit from the outside as well.
And the stumble, and Tess Levy just takes it away. Now, is she going to go all the way? Yes, she is. Just a needless turnover from Korea. It's been a day of nightmares, really. Kang. Park. And Park has it taken away from Snell. By Snell. Rebecca Allen hands it off to Tessa Levy. Kayla Francis has shown the jump shooting ability that she's got, but they dump it inside to Natalie Burton.
Nice, beautiful pass from Belinda Snell. Look at that. The lob pass over the top of Park. Burton did a good job sealing off as well. And again, credit to Australia.
Well, Australia leading at 72-37. Korea called the timeout. Australia right now, Lloyd, are looking at this like we're going to make the most of this 8 minutes and try to run some sets.
Well, it's free practice for Australia right now. They've got a commanding lead. They can run through everything. It's that battle again. How much do you show other teams that may be here in attendance? How much do you hold back? How much do you just try and get a bit of time to practice?
Well, Kim Young-ju is leading this Korean team with 11 points, 8 points for Lee Seung-ah. Australia have got 4 players in double digits with Tolo, Snell with 13 apiece, Taylor with 11, and Hodges has a game-high 14 points. Tessa Levy goes right down the lane, misses, but Burton, who is coming to life now offensively, follows and shows why you trail on the fast break.
Well, Burton was the one they said has been impressive in the build-up games. She's taken a lot of plaudits for her performances there, and she's starting to do the same in the fourth.
Lee hits a three-pointer, so now she's got a team high, or no, she joins Kim with 11 points. Rebecca Allen follows. So ball goes the other way for Korea. Choi shoots it over Natalie Burton. And Francis, boy, you can see how tall she is going up to get that rebound.
Look at the Australian players down the floor as Burton throws the pass ahead. Excuse me, Francis throws the pass ahead. 4 Australians already off to the races, getting ahead of the ball, running with Levy.
Kayla Francis is going to hear about that air ball when she goes back to the bench. She was kind of smiling.
Well, Francis, it's almost like she's frustrated she didn't get to play a lot. after playing quite well. And now she's gone looking for a shot a bit too much. She's forcing the action perhaps too much when she should just be staying within the system, staying within the offense. And so Coach Joyce is going to take her out.
Well, Gabe Richards hasn't scored today, so she might be looking for her shot. Here she is. Rebecca Allen comes up top, gets it to Burton. And Burton, oh, nice length for that rebound. You see her hands go up and follow the miss. Australia go to 76 points. Lee, Kim, inside to Choi, and instead of going up, she saw Gabe Richards there, passed it back out. Long three, however, so they ended up getting a three-pointer out of it. So nice patience from Korea.
Three-point shooting has been better in the second half for the Koreans. It's at the fourth they've made. But, you know, still defensively, they just haven't been able to slow Australia down at all.
Gabe Richards goes in and powers her way up and earns a trip to the free throw line. Kim took the punishment, and she also committed the foul. Interesting that Richards, you know, was already not going to be with the team, and then she got the late call to come in for Cambridge. And just wonder how difficult that is to join the team. But I guess you're so excited to be making your debut at a World Championship for women, and you know it's an opportunity of a lifetime for her, isn't it?
Well, an opportunity. Richards is a player 29 years of age, has never played in a major competition for Australia. So she comes in, great opportunity for her, great experience, as you said. She had a good WNBL career, 14 points a game last year.
Jerry takes it all the way, and she tends to struggle finishing her layups.
Yep.
In some respects, she's a better jump shooter. Here she is inside, and she's fouled from behind.
Well, it's a tough skill. You know, so it looks easy because you're close to the basket. When you're going full speed, when you've beaten someone off the dribble, you know they're pursuing you. You know they might be riding you a little with some contact. To balance yourself, to compose yourself, to get a finish isn't as easy as it sometimes looks. And it is an area for Rachel Jarry that she needs to improve on. They're finishing at the ring. That's for sure.
Allen, nice stroke from Allen. That was a two.
So every Australian player is a scorer now.
Hong runs off the screen, passes to Choi. And Australia not wanting to give anything away. They've played well for the most part, and they've forced the double dribble. And Korea's coach has seen enough. Kim Young-ju has called timeout. Brendan Joyce has taken the mantle and been robbed of arguably the most important piece to the puzzle with Cambridge, and also without Lauren Jackson. Yet you go with what you've got, and he would have known anyway that he wouldn't have come and had Liz Cambridge for 40 minutes a game. I mean, she's probably not going to play more than 22, 23 minutes per game. So he's just taking it, and you know, it doesn't seem like an Australian team that's sitting around feeling sorry for itself, does it?
Well, I think Brendan Joyce has done an A+ so far in this tournament. His team is very prepared. I like the way he's shaped them as well. The offensive sets, you know, really highlight the fact that they've got these pieces which are interchangeable. You know, he can put Taylor down on the low post. He can bring her out to the perimeter. Jarry, he can play the same outside, inside. You know, here she is going to the inside, Jarry. It makes them really difficult to guard. I think they were, you know, we knew coming in they're a big medal chance. I think it's going to take a good team to beat them.
Well, Levy hits the three-pointer.
And look at that, even Levy coming off the bench. 10 minutes, 8 points.
82-43. Well, the coach was singing her praises yesterday. So everybody's important for Australia, and as well as Richards, who's getting a lot of minutes, and, you know, her first 2 World Championship games. Levy chases down the long rebound. She tries to get it over to Rebecca Allen in the corner. And Allen's like, are you going to say that went off of me, or are you going to – they're all laughing. And don't read lips. So Korea trying to salvage something from what's been a real horror show from their standpoint with 3.5 minutes to go. Just trying to perhaps get some positive vibes back to take into their game against Cuba, which will be in a couple of days. Lee for 3. Now Levy crosses midcourt, and instead of shooting the layup, hands it off to Burton, and Burton goes up and banks it in.
Levy, she's a jet, isn't she? Gets the ball, pushes, quick in transition. And just 21 years of age. She's obviously the future. Mitchell and Phillips, who are ahead of her in the rotation at the moment at the point guard position, both 29 years of age, so a good chance for them to kind of breed her in, get her going in a major championship.
Kim with another three-pointer.
She's had a great game today, Kim. 17 points. It's now her 5th 3.
Allen, see she finds some space to put up another jumper. Australia seems to be going for that high percentage shot as much as possible inside. Dumping it into Burton. Well, Jerry now to Richards with 2 on the shot clock, 1. And Levy has to put up a 3 that's blocked. So not good execution that time. 84-46 Australia, with Shin coming back in and Kang, Lee, and Kim come out. Well,
Kim Ju-young is going to go out. What a game. Just said 17 points. She's a game's tie scorer. 3 rebounds. 5 of 11 from the three-point line. So that's one positive Korea can take, because she was 1 of 12 yesterday for 3. So she started to find her range. I've just got to add to her.
Hong has her shot blocked. Now Levy. Levy seems to be getting into the flow today. Allen. Short little jumper. Gabe Richards for the follow. Kind of rushed it up a couple of times, gets it back. I've decided she just wants to pad her rebounding totals. Kang with 1.5 minutes. Korea. Will they get to the half-century mark? They've got 46 points. Choi. Whoa, boy, nothing but twine. So they have hit a lot of three-pointers here in the second half. But unfortunately, it was in the first half when they dug themselves that huge hole when they could have really used them. Natalie Burton goes up, misses, and quickly Korea. Shin. Kang over to Hong. Hong for the three-pointer. Another one.
This is what we said. They make them in streaks. Unfortunately for Korea, they're making them when the game's already escaped them. Late on, if they'd made these in that third period, what a difference game that might have been.
Gabe Richards was battling Kang for position. Jerry puts up the 3. Richards gets another rebound. Levy over to Allen, and Allen hits a three-pointer. Well, she's definitely got that in her arsenal, in her repertoire.
Yep, she's a versatile player. Another one of those 21-year-olds. She's, you know, the Penny Taylor replacement, really, as Australia gets on.
Although Taylor is irreplaceable, I would say. You never know how good these girls are going to become. Kang gets inside and puts it up off the glass. And we'll see if Australia take this last shot. 87-54, Levy gets it off to Gabe Richards, and she doesn't get it off in time. So Richards finishes with a team low 1 point, but that's insignificant. Australia rolling to a convincing win over Korea, 87-54. Well, folks, you're looking at the Australian Opals. They've just collected their second win here at the FIBA World Championship for women against Korea, 87-54. And perhaps building some momentum. You don't have to bring your A game right at the start of the tournament, but, you know, I think from their standpoint, they're looking to get better and better, and they certainly played with some fire and discipline and organization today. The statistics, you see the great shooting inside the arc for Australia, and they had gave Korea a tough night at the office from their offensive standpoint. So good defense from Australia, taking away, as you said, Lloyd, what Korea want to do. Really putting pressure out on the perimeter. And
well, it was a very impressive Australian performance. For me, they did everything they needed to. They got an easy victory in the end. You know, Korea were no match, but this was an Australian team that came in prepared, executed absolutely the way they wanted to, both offensively and defensively. The couple of, the key questions we asked, they're turning the ball over too much yesterday. Today, limited themselves to 10 turnovers, just 3 in the second half, and then also, the offensive rebounds from Korea, they were held to 9, having 6 in the first half, so real adjustments made by Australia, positives for them.
And you see the rebounding for this game. Australia, if they win their next game, they'll be assured of a first place finish, and that will give them a ticket to the quarterfinals. So once again, from the Abdi Apeche, Australia winning it 87-54 over Korea, and that, as it is right now, the Group C standings. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Number 5. The delay. Out of bounds, Korea ball. Out of bounds, Korea ball. 3점 슛 equality.